Hello and welcome back to Well Played, presented by The Skim. I'm Blake Morgan.
Got the last name right this time.
There you go.
And I'm Caroline Hendershot. Happy early Thanksgiving to you all. Thank you for being with us this week. We have a lot to talk about. I know we say it literally every week,
Truly.
but we do. I can't stop yapping. We have some NFL topics with our guest, Mina Kimes from ESPN. But before we get into it, Blake, Thanksgiving plans?
I'm going to Jersey. In fact, I brought
back to her roots.
my knapsack with me. I'm the bag lady today.
Yeah, you had many bags.
Hauling ass with my weekend bag, my backpack. I didn't even have hands to bring an umbrella because I also had to get coffee for us this morning.
Yeah.
It is very early.
You're sounding like we forced you to get coffee like an
No,
intern.
it's a rotation, guys.
It's like bullying.
It's a sweet rotation. It just happened to be my week and I wanted to share it with you.
Okay.
Yeah. Where are you going?
I will be going to Pinehurst, North Carolina. I'm doing...
Very specific.
Yes. I'm doing Thanksgiving with Scott's family this November. I was going to say this Thanksgiving. I just said that. But Pinehurst is big golf country.
Oh, are you going to be out on the green?
I will not be out on the real green. I'm going to be playing this thing called the Cradle. It's like a par 3 course where everyone plays it barefoot. So it's like very chill.
I've never heard of
Also
that.
with like a drink in hand.
Oh, fun.
So it's like chill vibes.
Sounds like it's going to be warm.
I don't think so.
Warmer than here?
I think my toes will still be cold. I think maybe a little warmer, but I do think like legitimate cold front coming come Thursday.
Girl, you better get your wool socks ready.
I know. And I have like, I have self-diagnosed Raynaud's, obviously, because I'm a doctor.
What is that?
It's like where your extremities just don't get circulation. So like my fingers and my toes will turn white.
Yes.
Even if it's 70 degrees out, if they're like just not in the right position.
Okay.
Yeah, so cold weather makes it really fun.
Like I said,
rowing in Michigan was really good for me.
Oh my God, yeah. Interesting choice for a sport. Definitely
Yeah.
wear those wool socks because you have to come back. You're coming back early. You're not even staying till Sunday, right?
Correct.
Because you got a job to do.
Yes, because I'll be seeing you.
Yes, guys. I'm so excited.
I actually forgot that was this weekend until you reminded me of it.
Right. So to set the scene here, this Sunday I will be out in the stands at MetLife Stadium looking for Hendy. Binoculars out, looking for her, looking cute with her little outfit on the sidelines because it's my dad's. He's turning 70. My dad is turning 70 on Saturday. And he's a Jets fan through and through. So I asked Caroline if she could hook it up with some tickets for his birthday because big man, I don't even know if he's been to like a Jets game in his life.
Birthday boy deserves it. Wow. If he has not been to a Jets
maybe
game in his
he has.
life.
I know that his brothers and their kids do.
Okay.
But my dad's just like not.
He doesn't like to go to the stadium.
Yeah, he's such a curmudgeon sometimes. He's like, I gotta find parking, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's literally how he sounds.
Respect, because I also am that exact same way, and I don't have the 70 years of experience or life.
And they're paying you. He's like, I gotta do this for free.
Exactly.
And I gotta pay.
Exactly. He's like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, so I'll be seeing Hendy this
It's going to be
weekend.
very cold, though, on Sunday. I think it's like a high of 38.
Okay, good to know.
So maybe bundle like you've never bundled
Sure
before.
thing. I also don't have a jersey. I will be wearing a green sweater, and that is it.
Honestly, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm more into the fashion side of it anyways.
Yes,
You know?
and they're playing the Seahawks.
Yes. Oh, wait, maybe you shouldn't wear like just a green sweater then.
What am I supposed to do? Go to Dick's Sporting Goods?
Like what? What your inflection? Dick's Sporting Goods? I don't know. I can bring you a hat for sure. I don't know what else is my solution for you, though.
Okay.
But like workshop that. Think on it.
Yeah, because it's not really a deep
some
green.
options.
It's not that deep forest Jets green. It's like a light.
Yeah.
I was wearing the sweater this morning. I don't know if you saw it.
I guess like the Seahawks are technically more of like a neon-y green.
Neon?
Yeah.
No, like teal, right?
No,
like
neon.
tealish deep green?
No, neon.
Oh, fuck. I'm going to get jarred for this.
I don't Are you
This just
introducing me to something that I didn't know was wrong with me? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to suggest
I'm
to you.
sorry. I was thinking about the fucking Eagles.
Tough.
Okay, it is not even maybe, it's probably 7:30 right now, y'all.
No, it's a little later.
Seahawks, Eagles, too many.
They're birds.
Birds.
They both have green in their team colors.
Absolutely not. Anyway, can we please get into it? Because I am really embarrassed right now.
Yes, of course. Wait, before we get into it, just make sure. I'm sorry, that was hilarious. Just a reminder, we have a full-length video of this episode out on YouTube, so be sure to search for Well Played by The Skim on YouTube, or if you prefer to listen, make sure you are following us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
That was really hard for Hendy to get through. I just want you to know. Like, her face was just holding it back the whole time.
My laughter.
Yeah. But yeah, you can also follow us on TikTok and Instagram at The Skim. Caroline, remind everyone where they can find you.
At CG Hendy. I have been getting more DMs and I really appreciate it. Like, everyone's like, I know you joke about getting DMs. I'm like, no, I'm not joking. I'm so for real.
Oh my God. Like, I thought you just got that one. I want to, not to be a creep, but like, I want to know like every time you're getting a DM.
Yeah, you're right. I should have. I actually did screenshot one and I meant to send it to you and I just completely forgot. But yeah, everyone is so lovely.
Good.
Big fans of the girls in the DMs. Yeah.
Somebody did affirm that they like my Instagram handle.
Oh,
they like me just the way I am.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not saying
no,
it. I'm not.
Too early.
I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson before. I'm not doing it
Anyway, you
again.
can find me at BLAAA4KSE.
Yeah, it's so smooth these
Boom
days.
bang.
As always, we have prepared a roundup of our favorite stories dominating your feeds this week. It's time for Playing the Field.
Except for this Playing the Field, we are starting things a little bit differently.
Psych.
Yeah, you just got punked. Okay, so we're beginning this holiday edition of Playing the Field with a Thanksgiving-themed NFL conversation. We're calling it It's Giving. So as we sit around the Thanksgiving table this Thursday, we're going to be surrounded by loved ones, familiar food, and of course, lots of football. So we thought, why not put these two things together, football, Thanksgiving, and come up with a roundup of some of our favorite and least favorite Thanksgiving dishes, and tell you which NFL teams and players they remind us of. So, Caroline, do you want to get us started for It's Giving?
I sure would. Okay, we need to talk about turkey.
Yes,
obviously it's a main dish.
The main dish, arguably.
Sorry, yes, you're completely right. It is the main dish of Thanksgiving. It's very controversial, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's a cut and dry decision. It's not good. It's just straight up. You have to cover it in gravy for it to be good.
I'm going to say justice for turkey, but we can talk about that.
Yeah, okay, we're feuding.
Yeah.
But as far as NFL teams are concerned, it's giving the Cowboys, specifically Dak Prescott. And I'm so sorry, Cowboys fans, if you're listening. But, like, think about it. Because, you know, you always have these really high expectations for turkey every year.
True.
You think it's going to change. You think it's going to be, oh my God, this is the year that we like turkey. It's going to be good. It's actually so, it's living up to the hype that it's supposed to be, right? Then you get the turkey and you're like, it's just not hitting the same way that I thought it would.
You don't really light up about a turkey.
No. Like, they'll make it to the playoffs, right? But they're one and done, you know? So it's not doing what it was meant to do. And it's just, Dak is like that guy who everyone is like, he's good. He's really good.
We can agree.
But like, when you look at it at its core, he's not that good.
Not the best.
Yeah.
Not the best.
I mean, okay, I also have never been to a Pro Bowl. I've never played in an NFL game. Don't come for me, okay? I know my bounds. But like, it's just... you know, it's meh at the end of the day.
Okay. I accept that.
Yeah.
I accept that.
Do you agree with the hot take of like, I guess not hot take. Do you agree with my take that Cowboys just like don't live up to those expectations?
Well, it just seems like it's agreed upon. They're like America's team, which, yeah, turkey is America's main dish. But yeah, I do agree with you. I'm going to say I agree.
Okay.
Because they are put on this pedestal, but nobody can really say why. They just we all agree that it is, but we don't really know why.
Exactly.
There's no really evidence to back it up.
Yeah, totally. Totally. And it's like kind of always a shit show.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot of stress.
Yeah, very.
Nobody's like happy to make a turkey, honestly.
No, and it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, you know?
Oh,
like,
you're so damned if you don't. If you don't have a fucking turkey on the table.
The maker of the turkey will never get justice because it's like, well, it could have been better. And it's like, you make the dang turkey then.
Yeah. I've never made a turkey.
Oh, God,
I don't really want to.
Would absolutely not. Okay, Blake, you're up next. What Thanksgiving food would you like to talk about?
Okay. I want to talk about mac and cheese. It is maybe my favorite of Thanksgiving dishes.
Okay.
Potential. I don't think that's that hot of a take.
I don't think that's a hot take.
Yeah.
Actually, I will say a hot take. The Hendershot household growing up never had mac and cheese for Thanksgiving. I know.
Wait, am I fucking wild for this?
No, I don't think you are. I think we were in the minority.
Okay. I was like, is it just me that had
this
Thanksgiving?
Play about us?
No.
Yeah. No.
I also think it became more like my early memories of Thanksgiving, don't think it was always there, but it's since become.
I definitely think that we are in the wrong and in the minority. It's probably just because we're Italian and we have pasta with literally every meal. Sorry.
You're going to have to fill us in on what Scott's family does if they have mac and cheese
and
on
like
the
their dishes and their traditions. We'll do.
So I think that mac and cheese, it's giving Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
I mean, they were so amazing this season until they lost. Everyone has their day. It can't always be rainbows and sunshine. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
But in particular, I'm thinking of the tag team mac and cheese duo. Let's say, one is mac and one is cheese. Patty Mahomes and Travis Kelce.
Great analogy.
Because, they're like best friends off the field. Like, they get along off the field. Mac and cheese, macaroni and cheese would get
separately.
Along. Not even just like
separately, great. Combined, even better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like where your head's at with this one.
It doesn't even have to be cheddar and macaroni. It could be fusilli and parmesan.
Oh my God.
Like you got to think about outside the box here a little bit.
You literally know the way to my heart.
Definitely. And you're going to go back for seconds. You're always going back for seconds. Kind of like the Chiefs going back to the Super Bowl year after year.
I love this from you. This is like your best argument you've ever given me. Like anyone that's disagreeing with Blake right now, you're wrong.
I have the cherry on top though, which is that.
Gimme.
So to me, in my opinion, your mac and cheese has to have crispy breadcrumbs on top.
Of course.
Maybe either you bake them or you broil it at the end. Yeah. Watch out. Make sure you don't hit it under the broiler for too long. Right. They might burn.
Right.
But the breadcrumbs here would be Taylor Swift.
Oh, that's
because
really
she is just like really like little.
Yeah, just the extra little, like
go back for it.
You thought that we couldn't talk about the Chiefs more. Boom, Taylor Swift.
You're so right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. I like this.
And also, it just, mac and cheese is good on its own, but then when you add the breadcrumbs, it's just even better.
Yeah, it's chef's kiss.
The thing about mac and cheese, the thing about mac and cheese is like, you got to think about texture.
Yes.
So if you just have mac and cheese, Pat, why am I calling him Pat?
You're a good friend.
Know him.
You're a good friend, Pat.
Pat and Trav.
My good friend, Patrick.
Good. It's really good, but like no texture there.
Right.
Taylor Swift adds a little texture. You need that mouthfeel.
God.
Trust.
You should be a lawyer. I've never been more convinced of an argument before.
All right, you're up.
Okay, when you think of mashed potatoes, what do you think of? Reliability.
She didn't even give me a second to answer.
Consistency. Yeah, I was beating you to the punch. Familiarity. It's like, it seems boring, but when done right and when done well, you can't stop going back to them. So they're giving Pittsburgh Steelers. And here's why. It's because of their coach, Mike Tomlin. The man doesn't lose. Like, he has had an over 500 season for a bajillion years, it feels like. The guy is just like, everyone's going to laugh at you for getting Russell Wilson and Justin Fields on your roster. Well, guess who's laughing now? Not Mike Tomlin. He's 8-2, baby. He is not. He is the last one laughing. And I just feel like he always pulls out, these very strategic moves at very strategic times because he's a veteran. He's been around the league for a while. The potato, been around the farm for a while.
Absolutely.
It's
seen a staple
everything.
Crop. It is. What do you think got my people through the Irish potato famine? Wait, was it the potato famine? What do you think that got them through the famine? Yes. What do you think? It wasn't leafy greens. It was a fucking potato.
It was a goddamn potato. Wait, wasn't it because potatoes were gone?
You know what? I'm going to need a fact checker on this. And we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. But case in point.
This is a sports podcast. Anyways, but yeah, he's like turned Russell Wilson, who was...
Or should I say Russet Wilson?
Oh. She just did that.
Oh my God.
God, you are so quick on your feet today. I'm so jealous. Russet Wilson. He turned him, who was a very like disaster storyline with the Broncos. Boom. He's now a hero again. He's like, oh yeah, who this? Like, Mike Tomlin is a GOAT. So, yeah, mashed potatoes.
I like this.
Yeah. I think also my dad puts cream cheese in our mashed potatoes.
Cream cheese is kind of wild.
It is.
I think sour cream is more typical.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's sour cream. I can't really remember. I never made them. My dad, it's like only my dad's job.
Does he put any like onion, leeks,
like
scallions?
Like chive action?
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, he was very serious about the mashed potatoes.
I just had an idea for my mashed potatoes really quick. Maybe somebody who's listening wants to try it out. I think somebody should try brown butter mashed potatoes.
Whoa.
And I've been doing leeks in my mashed potatoes recently, like sauteed leeks.
Yeah.
Instead of just chives. I feel like that would be really good.
Okay.
Brown butter leek mashed potato.
Maybe you try it out and let us know next week.
I should.
Okay.
I'll try it out. Okay. Anyway.
Go ahead.
What goes better with potatoes than a little bit of gravy?
Nothing.
Yeah, that's right. Especially when, this hopefully won't happen to anybody listening, but sometimes the potatoes can be a little dry.
Oh, God.
If the wrong person's making them. When I make them, never dry.
Not Carl.
No. I would never imagine such a thing. But you can't have Thanksgiving without gravy. It's a crowd pleaser. Everybody's asking you to pass a gravy vote.
Always.
And you know what? It's giving Detroit Lions.
100%.
So
particularly this year.
Yes, I was gonna say, as many of you know, I haven't known that much about football until quite recently. And I hear the Lions everywhere. I know the name of the QB. I know the name of the head coach. I can say them. Would you like me to say them?
I would, actually.
Jared Goff.
Yep.
Dan Campbell.
I'm so proud of you.
Those locker room talks? Come on.
Yeah.
But week after week, we keep coming back to the Detroit Lions. We're late in the season. Feels like they're everywhere. Much like gravy, kind of just sitting it up on your plate. It ends up everywhere.
Yep.
Does anyone ever complain?
No.
Nobody's mad that the Lions are doing well.
Yeah.
I find.
Right.
Do you feel like anyone has a problem with it?
No. I think I also think Dan Campbell is like one of the most likable coaches. So it's just very hard to be upset. Also, their fan base, obviously they had not been good for a very long time. And now being so good, like their fan base is obviously going nuts over it because they just hadn't had that. So it's like, how could you be mad at that? Happy for that?
Exactly.
You know? It's a Cinderella story in a sense.
Absolutely. Actually, it's funny is that so Jared Goff, he's getting all this praise that he deserves, as I was saying. And people are just chanting Gravy's name around the table, literally calling out, can I have the gravy boat? Like nobody's asking to like pick up the heavy thing of mac and cheese and toss it over here. No, we're keeping it simple. We're keeping it back to the roots.
You actually
just
like buffet
gravy
style.
Exactly. That gravy boat.
And then like you take the gravy boat to the table, like it's a mainstay.
Yes. And everybody's happy to have it there.
Maybe that means that the Lions are going to the Super Bowl. If the
Honestly,
Super Bowl
I'd
is the
so
Thanksgiving
happy.
table. You know what I'm saying?
That was
Picking up what I'm
prophetic.
putting down? Thanks. What can I say?
Also, did you know that after this weekend at 10-1, the Lions have secured their first back-to-back double-digit win season in franchise history?
Yeah, see, like they have not been good for a minute, and now they're great. So, very happy for that fan base, and hopefully they keep it up this Thanksgiving when they play.
I mean, that about wraps it for our Thanksgiving dishes. Honestly, I could keep going, but I had to stop myself there.
Yeah, I get it.
But just to conclude, does your family watch football on Thanksgiving? Is that the kind of family you are?
For sure. It's definitely on. I mean, it's definitely on over the Macy's Day Parade. I think the Macy's Day Parade is like a little traumatic because we almost lost my cousin there one year.
Wait,
don't worry, we found him. It's fine. But like, whoops. But yes, we definitely watch it. It is a mainstay in the Hendershot household. I think honestly, what drives my mom the craziest, because my mom is a big football fan, is that she's like cooking a lot and like can't be by the TV.
We got to get her an iPad.
We do.
That's the only solution.
I honestly fear that would make her too dangerous. So I don't think we can give her that mobility too much. But yeah, so what else should we talk about?
Well, I think we should talk about some of the games.
I think we should.
But also, most importantly, I mean, we talked about the Cowboys. Cowboys are playing this Thursday. And we have to talk about them because, I mean, in full glare this week, listen, for the third week in a row, Glary Jerry, as we're going to start affectionately or disaffectionately calling him.
Have to.
Yeah, Jerry Jones, Cowboys owner, he just refuses to, he's continuing to refuse to put up these damn curtains at AT&T Field. Yeah. And you sent us a Instagram post this weekend. Can you tell us about it?
Yes. So he, of course, got memed and trolled like it was his job this weekend because he was wearing, what do you say? Sunglasses during the Cowboys' upset win over the Commanders, which everyone on social media was like, oh, you're wearing sunglasses?
Funny how that works out.
Because is the sun in your eyes like it was for the players? So don't know why he is so steadfast in refusing to put up these curtains. Do we think he will finally break? I personally, before I even let you answer, I just asked you a question and am answering myself. I think he's giving younger sibling energy that we know so well.
Right.
Where it's like your older sister or brother told you to do something and you know that it's probably right. But you're not going to give in.
Yeah, no, you're not going to do it.
I'm putting my foot down and I am going to be a curmudgeon about this.
I think that they should actually put this on like FanDuel or one of these betting apps.
Oh, okay.
Like, will Jerry Jones put the curtains up?
That's a good one.
I feel like that's a good one that people could bet on.
I also, too, do just want to try to catch a football in the end zone when the sun is glaring. Like, I want
him to try.
I want to... That could end badly.
That would be a show.
That could be that end badly. But like, I just want to see what it's like, you know, because as someone who I wore sunglasses in my sport because it's on the water and it was very reflective, one may say. I didn't even have to look where I was going. You could row with your eyes closed if you really wanted to. But yeah, it's
giving gaslighter. That's what I think.
Totally.
He's like, yeah, it's sunny. Yeah, I'm wearing sunglasses. Is there a problem though with these goddamn curtains? No.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh gosh, he's just
somebody's gonna reel it back for this old man. I think like I wonder if he has kids.
I just feel like, you know, and I love you so much, Dad, as I say this. But like, you know, sometimes your parents are just like, they are gonna do what they want to do.
That
and
is
there
my
is
parents'
no
MO.
convincing them otherwise. It's like they probably have said, hey Dad, like let's put up
Let's just give them what they want.
You know, like it's just gonna help everyone. And he's like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll be placing my bets this
So
week.
do you think they'll go up for Thanksgiving?
No.
Okay.
No.
Me
definitely
either.
not.
I actually don't think they'll go up for the rest of the season.
Next up on Playing the Field, let's talk about Kendrick Lamar's new album. I know.
Can you explain this to me?
You wouldn't think Kendrick Lamar and Lil Wayne would end up in our show.
I know. Surprise, surprise.
Yes.
But I'm just like not in the music world, and you very much so are.
Oh, I was a college radio DJ.
Oh my God, the lore continues.
I know, it deepens. But yeah, so basically Kendrick came out with a new album on Friday, I think it was. And by the
It was
looks
like a surprise album?
It was a surprise album.
Okay.
Nobody knew. It was
Yeah.
crazy. I listened to it yesterday at the gym. It was actually very good. I saved many tracks to my playlist.
Isn't there a song called like Squabble Up or
Yes,
something?
it's really good.
It's
second
very-
track on the album.
It's very fitting that he put it out before Thanksgiving. Like Squabble, the sound that a turkey makes.
But
Thank you. God, I'm such a loser sometimes.
Anyway, on the first track of the album, though, I think it's pronounced Whacked Out Murals.
Oh.
He might have thrown shade at Lil Wayne for expressing jealousy over his Super Bowl halftime show. Weezy responded to the call out from Lamar's opening track, Whacked Out Murals, where he said something along the lines of like, I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down.
Okay.
Because Kendrick got the Super Bowl halftime show slot. It's in New Orleans. That's where Lil Wayne is from. And so he's really upset about it. Literally in September when the news came out, he posted like an over minute long reel full of silence, actually, where he was just like really sad. Really sad. He literally sounded depressed. He's like, I have to hold back my tears right now. And so he responded to this song, you know, him getting called out in the song, where he with the tweet, he was like, man, WTF I do. And this all got started when Lil Wayne gave a quote back, saying he was disappointed to have been looked over for the halftime show. But in my head, I'm like, Lil Wayne, when was the I might get flack for this.
Yeah.
But do you think Lil Wayne is more relevant than Kendrick Lamar?
No, like not in today's
That's what I'm thinking.
like music industry.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's like always great when it's like, oh my God, we're going to do a throwback person. But I don't remember the last time the Super Bowl halftime was like a throwback person. It's always a superstar, you know? And I feel like that's very much so. I literally
Did you even know that Lil Wayne has come out with like 3 albums in the last
Hell no.
couple years?
Of course not.
I know. And like, don't get me wrong, Lollipop, love that song.
Yeah, great song.
6 foot, 7 foot, absolutely.
Great song. Yeah.
But Kendrick, I mean, he's just more relevant right now.
Ooh, that hurts. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Lil Wayne.
Sorry.
I know. And he was so in his feels. I was kind of surprised by it, honestly.
Well, you know,
because rappers are always so fucking tough.
Yeah.
Not that they have to be, but they often are.
But they also take like the lyrical
call-outs.
diss track vibe. Like they take that very seriously. So there seems to be a new riff.
Yeah. Based on the line that I told you, though, do you think that this is actual beef?
Well, you know what the line reminded me of when you said it is like, don't meet your idols because you're always going to be disappointed. Like you meet this person that you look up to and then like they aren't who you thought that they would be. I don't believe that. I think that people, for the most part, are better than you would like to assume. But that's
also, I think it's just like he surpassed Lil Wayne, and he's just like, I'm sorry, dog, that I'm kind of better than you.
Yeah, but it's also like, I think it wasn't like Lil Wayne was like, oh, screw Kendrick, you know? It was more so just like
why did y'all choose me?
Yeah, this is like my place.
Yeah.
It was the perfect opportunity. Maybe in his defense, someone was like, "Oh, you're definitely going to get the halftime show."
That's
and he
wrong.
was just, maybe he was just
if
strung
someone
along.
is in his corner. I mean, people. It's not like people get chosen based off of like where they're from. You know what I mean? Like just because he's from New Orleans doesn't mean he would get chosen. Beyonce performed in New Orleans.
True.
She could have performed in Houston. I don't know when they would have been in Houston.
She will be performing.
She will be for the NFL Christmas special, as we know. But I mean, also, who are we more concerned about here? Because I mean, we know how Not Like Us went this year. I'm just scared. Personally, I'm like, I also want to protect Lil Wayne because like he does not deserve to be dragged.
Yeah.
Actually, as of this morning, I saw on Instagram, Drake actually initiated a lawsuit against Spotify for basically artificially plugging the song so much. I mean, you know how big Not Like Us is.
But it was so catchy.
I know. I think it's bullshit.
Sorry, it was a good song.
I know that happens on Spotify, but it's Kendrick. It would have blown up either way.
Yeah.
And it's just such a good diss. Like, come on, Drake.
Yeah.
But
sometimes you just got to be like, you know what? Got it. Let me go.
I know. Whatever happened to the
back in the studio.
Yes. Whatever happened to the silent fadeaway?
Yeah. Or like, let me go back in the studio and cook you harder.
Yes.
Maybe he's afraid because he can't.
He can't. There's no way.
Yeah, okay, well, that's some tea that I now know so much more about that I would have never known without you. Thank you.
Okay, there's more tea.
Oh, okay.
This is like light tea, but it's from the NBA.
Okay,
so we know we've talked about the Philadelphia 76ers a lot.
Yes.
That's a couple weeks. Mostly because of Joel Embiid, who is their star player. He got into a locker room dispute with a reporter. He has not been playing because of injury, and then he got suspended. What's happening now is that after last Monday's loss against the Miami Heat, it was bad, and it was so bad that they had to call an emergency locker room meeting.
Oh, like a players only.
Yeah.
Vibe.
Yeah, no press. Players, coaches only.
Oh, okay. Coaches were invited. Okay, because like NFL teams, I feel like do this all the time, where they're like players only. We're gonna like rally the troops.
I kind of like gave a little bit away right now because of a theory that I have. So just hang tight.
I'm staying with you.
So according to Joel Embiid, there's a bit of a situation among the Sixers. Or should I say a snitchuation? Yes. One of their star players who's on the come up, apparently in this meeting, his name is Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
He called out Joel Embiid for setting a bad example for his teammates. He's like shows up to practice late. Obviously, he's not really been playing the season at all. And like if he is, it's not very well.
Yeah.
But it was good. Like they hashed it out. Joel Embiid accepted the feedback, whatever.
Yeah.
They could have moved on. Except that Joel Embiid was not allowed to move on because there was a snitch among them in the locker room who leaked this meeting and that comment to the press. To ESPN. They're the one who reported on it.
Oh, schnitzel.
And the reason why I said there might have been coaches present is because people on the internet think that his own coach, Nick Nurse, is the snitch among us.
Interesting.
Yes. So the reason why they think that is because there was someone cited in the article. It was a person involved in the meeting. Okay. And that person said, Tyrese loves big fella, but this is the elephant in the room. Two important things here. The use of big fella and elephant in the room.
Okay.
Who calls Joel Embiid big fella?
I assume you're going to say
Nick Nurse.
Okay, yeah.
It's Nick Nurse, the coach.
Oh.
Who else has a weird fascination with elephants?
Wait, does he really?
Okay, it's not like weird, like a fucking, like no, nothing weird like in that way. You know what I mean? But he refers to elephants a lot. There are like two instances that people on the internet, specifically Reddit, shout out, pointed to where he was talking about elephants. And he literally has an elephant figurine in his office. I think he even has two now that he's with the Sixers. Yeah. And he talks about using this elephant as like a symbol for the elephant in the room and just the fact that we have to talk about
I have not heard this theory.
Yeah.
Like I heard like, okay, there were like leaked comments and Joel Embiid was mad about it, but this is interesting.
I know. And so it's crazy because literally publicly as recently as 2 weeks ago, Nick Nurse called Joel Embiid big fella in a fucking press conference.
Does anyone else call him big fella?
I mean, that has been so scrutinized. Not that I know of. I mean, I call you big fella. I haven't called you big fella. I would call you big fella.
I will from now on call you big fella.
Big fella on air. But it's also like, who could it have been?
Yeah, that's interesting because it's not just like one off, right? There's two things. There's two connection points.
Right.
The elephant
fishy.
one to me is interesting because I'm like, okay, that's a stretch. But then you're like, he has a figurine
of an elephant. That's so odd.
Interesting.
So do you buy this theory that it was the coach or do you think it was a player?
I think in my heart of hearts, I would love to believe that coaches have more going on and they like are too busy to be leaking stuff to ESPN, right? But like maybe he said something off the cuff, not thinking that he was leaking it, you know? Like maybe it was just like casually in conversation and then like a reporter got that information, got that quote.
I should also say the only reason why it's a big problem is, well, first of all, he just broke the sanctity of the locker room, whoever this person was. But also Joel Embiid is pissed. because he's obviously gotten so much flack recently from literally everybody. Like,
the
obviously
last
his
thing you need
teammate
is your own team snitching you out.
Oh, absolutely. So he's like on a snitch hunt right now. Remains to be seen if it is Nick Nurse. I would actually kind of like, not that I want to foster a toxic team relationship, but for the sake of this story, for the sake of this story, I kind of hope it's the coach.
That would be crazy. Yeah. In my opinion.
It would be. It would be messy.
Okay, I'm going to need you to monitor
I will.
The Reddit.
I'll keep my ear to the ground.
Yeah. And ear to Reddit. Okay, moving on with playing the field. This is a quick, in case you missed it. NWSL Final was this weekend. Congratulations to the Orlando Pride. They beat the Spirit. You were very
1-0.
locked in. The highlight that I saw, obviously, was Marta, but also Marta's mom being in attendance. She did look quite cold.
Oh, yeah,
she was bundled. Yeah. But did you know that she was dating one of her teammates, Marta? Or actually, sorry, engaged to.
I did.
I had no idea.
T.
Learned that.
Defender. Carrie Lawrence.
Could not be me.
I know. Ugh. Too close.
If I was on the same team as Scott, there would be blood. There would be blood.
Test it out with like a rec soccer league in Hoboken. Try that.
I don't even know if that would be good for our future marriage. Yeah, not great. But yeah, very insane. And speculation, right, that there could be a retirement in her future because it was her first championship. You told me that she was retired from international play. So like,
I think she was just waiting for to see if they would secure the bag,
get the ring, peace out.
Peace out.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
She's been in the league. She's been playing for so long.
Yeah.
So congrats to Marta. Also, that goal was just so crazy. Yeah. It was 1-0 like that. And it was in the first half.
Yeah. That
kind of sucks. No more gameplay after. Yeah. Sorry, no more goals after the first half, but whatever.
Defense,
they
baby.
secured the bag.
Yeah, congrats to the Pride. All right, that's it for playing the field. When we return, we'll be in a different studio, and we will be joined by our guest, Mina Kimes. She's an NFL analyst for ESPN, a lover of all things sports, and the host of the podcast, The Mina Kimes Show, featuring Lenny, her dog. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Mina Kimes.
So we've already introed her, so let's not waste any time. We are thrilled to be joined by the very talented Mina Kimes. Mina, welcome to Well Played.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on. We really appreciate it. Before we get into Tuesday Morning Quarterback, our breakdown of all of the storylines happening in the NFL from the weekend, can you tell our listeners how you initially got interested in sports, in particular NFL football?
You know, like most people, a lot of people, I feel like, who become sports fans, it really was passed down to me from my parents, specifically my dad. He's from Seattle, and I grew up all over the country because he was in the military, but we as a family always rooted for Seattle sports because of him. Mariners, Sonics, back when they had the Sonics, and then of course the Seattle Seahawks, Washington football as well. So as a kid, I just watched a lot of football with him along with my brother, and it's something that really kept us close, especially when I moved out, went to college and whatnot. So it was a family thing. And I feel like that's a pretty common story.
How are you feeling about the Seahawks this year so far?
As of this exact recording, pretty good. We got the new head coach who Seattle just beat, I try not to say we, but sometimes I do. Seattle, the Arizona Cardinals. The defense has looked fantastic. The coach was really hired to turn around the defense. So seeing him put his stamp on that unit has been really encouraging. Not one of the, top teams in the NFL, not a contender. I don't think that, but it feels like things are trending in the right direction.
Love to hear it. All right. So let's just jump right in. Let's talk about Philadelphia. And MVP consideration is growing, obviously, for Saquon Barkley after rushing for an Eagles record 255 yards on Sunday, putting his league-leading total to almost 1,400 yards on the season. Mina, we all know that MVP has basically become a quarterback-only award. What do you think of the chance for Saquon to win the award?
He's got a good chance because right now I see it as a three-man race between him, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen. And you said it, MVP is usually quarterback award, but narratives also matter a lot. It's hard to win back-to-backs. Lamar won last year. This would be his third MVP. Voter fatigue exists. You see that in the NBA too, right? With Jokic. So I think there is an appetite to give it to a new player always. Allen, I think the Bills quarterback has a really strong case because doesn't have the strongest group of skill players in the NFL, so he's really elevating the offense in a way that you want to see the most valuable player do. But Saquon, to me, he took an offense that really struggled last year, but had a very, very good offensive line, and it's sort of gone to another level in the run game with him as a pass catcher. The fact that he's on a very dominant team matters. All three of the teams, the Bills, Ravens, and the Eagles, are very good. But if the Eagles finish this season looking as dominant as they have as of late, I do think that voters, of which I am one, will take that into consideration. It's hard with MVP to extract the player from the situation. You could point to Lamar and say he benefits now from the presence of Derrick Henry. You could point to Saquon and say he runs behind the best offensive line of football. So we do our best, but I think dominance is something that people like to take into the strongest consideration. And if he breaks records, and right now he's on pace to, that's going to be hard to ignore.
I want to talk about the team that is not loving seeing Saquon do so well, and that is the Giants, who let him go last offseason and are struggling harder than anyone this week. The vibe is very much for Saquon. If you can't take me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. That's the vibe I'm picking up on. But I don't know exactly where to start with the Giants, but can we please talk about how star rookie receiver Malik Neighbors called out the team's effort, and in particular his coach.
Yeah.
That was kind of catty. Loved that. After the blowout loss to the Bucs. Mina, did you see that head coach Brian Daboll respond to those comments?
Yeah, the vibes are terrible in New York. Just because of Saquon. Speaking of, loving him at his worst, I got Saquon on my Dynasty team. I don't know if anyone who listens or watches this plays Dynasty. You get to keep the players from year to year. And I got some trade offers this offseason, and he was coming off of, tough season in New York, and I held on to him, and my loyalty has been rewarded. I feel
Smart.
like a woman who hung on to a guy through maybe was gained a little weight, lost a job or whatever, but now he is thriving, and I'm thriving with him, and it feels amazing. I stayed true. I was his ride or die through the hard times, unlike the Giants, right, who let him walk. It's Neighbors has been awesome this year, and he was their top draft pick, but it's also hard not to look at him and wonder if they probably should have gone and drafted a quarterback. JJ McCarthy is the one who comes to mind, although he's been injured for the season, because quarterback has been such a big problem with this team, and obviously they actually cut their quarterback who they chose to pay instead of Daniel Jones, and it feels like a situation where they're probably going to clean house. But yeah, anytime you got a rookie who's calling out players and effort and that sort of things, that's usually not a good sign.
Yeah, not great over there. You brought him up, Daniel Jones. Where do you think that landing spot is for him? Because obviously no longer with the Giants, but there have been some maybe rumors of him wanting to be on a playoff team and kind of make a run for it. So where do you think he ends up landing?
Yeah, it's an interesting decision for Jones because there actually are teams where he could start. Looking at Jacksonville, potentially. We'll see what Trevor Lawrence comes back from injury. Dallas hilariously plays the Giants on Thanksgiving. I wanted him to sign with Dallas and then play the Giants on Thanksgiving, but it doesn't look like that's in the offing. But they lost their quarterback, Dak Prescott, for the season, of course. The Raiders don't have a quarterback. But I think probably what would be better for him and where it sounds like things are trending is joining a contender as a backup. He instantly is one of the better backups in the NFL. That dual threat ability, whatever you think about him as a quarterback, brings a lot to an offense. And I think a team like the Lions, the Ravens, for example, could use a backup of his caliber in case anything happens to their starters, even if it's just for a game.
Speaking of the Giants, the team that blew them out of the water this past week was none other than the Bucs, led by the human highlight reel, also personal to me, my stand-in fantasy QB Baker Mayfield, as Joe Burrow was on a bye week. He kind of did it all on Sunday, including not limited to diving on a loose ball that apparently nobody else saw, a spectacular downfield block, and he had probably the best celebration of the week when he sort of took a note from Tommy DeVito's playbook and did a chef's kiss hand gesture in the end zone. Mina, what did you think about Baker's performance?
Yeah, it was peak Baker Mayfield because it was sassy, gritty. I love it when players taunt other players with their own celebrations. That is honestly just perfect. He's been playing really well. This is a Bucs team that lost their two best receivers for much of the season. Mike Evans returned, fortunately, but Chris Godwin's out for the year. and has really, I think, achieved something on offense that maybe people didn't think was possible. Certainly not before last year with Mayfield, who has kind of resurrected his career there.
Totally.
And I don't think he's, one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, though I'm sure he was in fantasy this week. He was amazing. But I do think he is an interesting case study as we look at young quarterbacks who are struggling, getting benched. A guy like Daniel Jones is probably watching Baker Mayfield and hoping that he could have a similar trajectory, because as I'm sure you guys remember, he was a first overall draft pick, great as a rookie, struggled a bit in Cleveland, went to Carolina, had like a weird lost year, and now he looks like a completely competent, above average NFL quarterback. So it's a cool story to see.
Yeah, 100%. It's been really cool, I feel like, to just kind of follow like all of his success in college and then his up and down path and kind of seeing him back on the rise as of late. Okay, we would be remiss if we didn't mention the most exciting finish of the week, even though I think we're all a little tired of talking about the Cowboys, but of course we have to. They pulled off an upset over the Commanders on Sunday, and the full glared out view of owner Jerry Jones. I know that you have been to AT&T Stadium, and you actually tried, I think it was on your TikTok, to catch a football with the sun glaring in your eyes. Yeah, was it a factor?
That light is no joke. We were there for Monday Night Football. The Texans played the Cowboys a couple weeks ago, and my show NFL Live sometimes goes on the road. And so we were there. NFL Live is in the late afternoon, which is when they often play. Mm-hmm. And there's a big window. I mean, the stadium is so fascinating because it's like this expensive, opulent stadium, but like randomly is built, I think, east-west instead of north-south, or maybe the reverse. And then it has this window that Jerry Jones, the owner, keeps open. And players have complained about losing the ball because a bright light is shining through their eyes. So we're doing our show, and I'm thinking, it's not that bad, right? You just natural light's really beautiful. So we're walking off the field, and I turn around, and bam! It's like literally like the Eye of Sauron, just staring you in the eye in the field. I don't know how anyone catches footballs with that thing. It is so bright.
Insane.
It's crazy, and really kind of it's like emblematic of that organization generally, like the flash getting in the way of the football. But yeah, that loss made me feel much worse about the Commanders than it made me feel better about the Cowboys, if that makes sense.
Okay, interesting. Why is that?
I mean, the Cowboys defense hasn't been able to stop anyone on the ground, right? They've been worst run defense in the NFL by a lot of metrics. And the Commanders early in the season, first half of the season, looked like one of the best rushing attacks in football. They looked one of the best offenses in football. And they've really fallen off a cliff as of late. And the thinking was, well, they had played some good defenses, but now you get to play the Cowboys. And it's like a get-right opportunity. It's been that case for a lot of teams. And then to see the Cowboys completely shut them down the way they did on defense for much of that game until things got out of hand at the end was pretty concerning.
Yeah. Do you think this, like, not necessarily messes with Jaden Daniels? I mean, I think a lot of people were talking about him for Rookie of the Year. And do you think that this, as of late, their performance kind of will factor into that, obviously?
So, yeah. He seemed like he was going to run away with it. Now it feels like it's anyone's game. I mean, Bo Nix's been winning a lot of games. There's some hype around him. I think Caleb Williams is playing really good football, even though they haven't been winning. But yeah, truth be told, I actually think probably Brock Bowers has been the most impressive rookie. He's the tight end on the Raiders who nobody watches. But yeah, it's been a tough few weeks for Daniels, who also had a pretty, he had a rib injury and missed a game. And I think watching, though, a lot of it has to do with the play calling and the lack of offensive talent around him. I think it was a little bit masked earlier in the season. And now we're saying, oh, this is not the best situation for the rookie quarterback as maybe we thought.
Yeah. Okay. So a couple more for you, but we have to preview, obviously, Giants Cowboys, because that's going to be everyone's Thanksgiving show. Unfortunately, because we're forced to watch those two teams. How upset are you that you're being forced to watch these two teams on Thanksgiving? And then also, are you here for the Black Friday game between the Raiders and the Chiefs?
I don't know about that one. Yeah, I mean, the way Caleb Williams is playing, the Bears have an added intrigue for me. Packers Dolphins is actually a good game, I think. Giants Cowboys, it's 1 p.m., right? perfect. That's when you want to take a nap. Maybe you're cooking.
Exactly.
That's
little busy still.
Yeah, just kind of like, I actually think that's perfect on Thanksgiving when there's like one game where you can kind of chill out and sort of relax. That's why Daniel Jones would have made it way more interesting, honestly.
Yeah.
But that's not the best lineup.
Yeah, not ideal. And then, of course, the Raiders and the Chiefs. I feel like that's going to be not great. Not great for the Raiders. So don't tell my dad because he is a diehard Raiders fan.
Chiefs almost lost to the Panthers. I just watched that game, and I think the Chiefs are pretty vulnerable. I also thought Bryce Young was fantastic, which was very
out of his mind.
Very cool. That made me really.
Do you think he's like officially turned the corner?
It's a little early to say that, but I think if you're a Panthers fan, you have to be pretty encouraged by what you've seen. And, it's funny, I was talking to my colleague Dominique Foxworth about this on my show. I saw the box score. I didn't watch that game because, I was like, I'm not going to watch Chiefs Panthers on Sunday. And I assumed it was going to be kind of fluky, like special team stuff, maybe some fumbles. Bryce Young just balled out. Like, he made some incredibly impressive throws against the blitz in that one. And it was really, really an encouraging performance.
Last set of questions for you. So as you mentioned earlier, you grew up a Seahawks fan. Caroline and I will both be at the game. Caroline will actually be on the field as she is a silent reporter for the Jets. I will be in the stand celebrating my dad's 70th birthday. He is a Jets fan. Yeah, lifelong. Yep. I see that face.
Yeah.
So tell me what you expect from your Seahawks, from Aaron Rodgers, the Jets. Also, if you have any tips for a newbie like me who's never been to an NFL game. And
it also will be cold, just to preface. So any tips for Blake are recommended.
Please. And my 70-year-old dad who does not like to walk around that much.
When it's cold and it's this time of year, it has a way of like kind of getting into your bones. So
absolutely
overdress for the warmth. Even if you're like someone who doesn't run cold, I'm just overdress is my number one piece of advice. I am someone who runs very cold. So there's that. The Seahawks, as we were talking about, coming off a win against Arizona, I just think the defense has been really getting after the quarterback. The defensive line is playing really well. That's probably what concerns me the most for the Jets because Rodgers has really struggled under pressure this year and the offensive line hasn't been what they would hoped it would be. So I think on that side of the ball, Seahawks defense that has really struggled for some of the season seems to have turned a corner and it really starts up front. So that to me is ultimately going to be why I'm going to pick Seattle in this one. And then the Jets defense, man, they fire Robert Saleh as defensive-minded head coach and just completely falls off a cliff. And it's not any one thing. It's a million things. Missed tackles, blown coverages, not getting sufficient pressure. So as much as we talk about Aaron Rodgers and the offense and firing the offensive coordinator, I think that quietly the total implosion of the defense after firing Robert Saleh is, as a Jets fan, what probably has to bum you out the most.
Yeah, well, I'm manifesting for my poor father, hoping for a Hail Mary on this one. But that is it for today's edition of Tuesday Morning Quarterback on Well Played. Mina, where can people follow you? Where can they watch your show? Tell us everything.
Yeah, anyone who's watching this who loves football and just matchups and football talk, I have a podcast, Mina Kimes Show, featuring Lenny. You can watch us, subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/@Mina Kimes. Otherwise, I am on NFL Live, Carolyn's former employer, 3 or 4 days a week, every week, as well as First Take on Thursdays and some other ESPN shows. So check me out there.
Love
Thank
it.
you
Awesome,
so much,
Mina.
Mina.
Thank you. You've been amazing. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
It is time for us to close out this episode of Well Played, just like we do every week with a round of Send It, featuring our 4 favorite viral moments from the week that you should be sending to your group chat. So Blake, go ahead.
So, Chelsea. So, Jason Kelce.
Better known as Chelsea.
I'm going to start calling him that. Obviously, brother of Travis Kelce. So he's everywhere these days. He appears at college tailgates. He appears on air. He's everywhere. But he announced last week that he'll be hosting a late night show for ESPN starting in January. Great. Love that. But that wasn't the only announcement that he made this week. He and his wife Kylie announced that they're expecting a 4th baby, and they did so with a fun sense of humor. So in this viral Instagram post, their 3 daughters are pictured in a big, they're all wearing big sister sweaters. And it's so funny. One of them is smiling. One of them is sobbing her eyes out. She hates this news. She hates it so much. And one has her ears covered.
This is literally the Hendershot household when my parents told them that you were getting another sister.
And it was you.
Yes, because I don't know who heard it, but like my mom was like, okay, guys, me and dad have something to tell you. And one of those mean ass siblings of mine was like, we're getting a dog. We're getting a dog. Oh my God, we're getting a dog. And then all 3 of them were like, we're getting a dog. And my mom looked at my dad and was like, oh shit, we're screwed. And she was like, no. Actually, you're getting a sister. Yay! And they were all like, what? So that really just set me up for failure from the jump. Thank you, mom and dad, for that. That one, like the daughter that's crying, definitely Erica. She was pissed she was no longer the youngest. Literally, and I quote from her 3-year-old self. Or 4-year-old self, I don't like the baby anymore. Aww. You don't carry me anymore. Literally said that to my mom. So don't worry, we're friends now. And yeah, it's just, I relate to this deeply. I really thought it was a hilarious
My siblings,
post.
really quick, were so much older than me. By the time I came around, my oldest brother is 13 years older than me.
That they were like excited?
No, I don't know. I can't imagine. They were very happy. They did not like my dad at the time. They were kind of beefing, naturally, as 13, 12, and 11-year-old kids would. Totally. So I imagine their response was more just like, what the fuck? Because they were like old enough to kind of give that sass back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're all on good terms now. They love me.
Everyone's friends. Don't worry. Okay, next Send It. I hope you all saw the GOAT, Simone Biles, celebrating her husband's goal line strip and fumble recovery for the Bears on Sunday. Safety Jonathan Owens pulled the ball away from Vikings player Aaron Jones, and Biles went wild on camera, but wasn't the end of it. Owens, then it was hilarious. He's in this end zone, and he literally is like shoving his teammates away because he wants to do the celebration that Simone does. I don't know if it's like necessarily called something, but it's like her dismount pose, you know, where you're like,
put the V arms up in there.
Yeah, exactly. He did that as
it was
his
so cute
celebration. It was
also, I have a soft spot now for Jonathan Owens because of watching Hard Knocks the Bears season. Yeah. It was really sweet.
Yeah.
Because it was also filmed like right around, it was filmed during the Olympics.
Yeah, because they filmed him going. And
so
everything.
supportive.
Yeah. We love a supportive husband.
Okay, it's my turn. So it looks like Chapel Roan is actually a cross-country girly. It does not surprise me. I mean, you got to have lungs of steel to be singing her songs, high energy.
And dancing around on stage, the whole,
Well, the runners on Strava at least have her back. So TikTok tipped me off to her running past after a Chapel superfan traveled 46 miles across San Francisco to draw a GPS outline of Chapel Roan in tribute to one of her album covers, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. But Roan also revealed via a viral TikTok that she completed a 20-minute and 6-second 5K. That's not bad. I mean, it's not the greatest, but I certainly couldn't run a 20-minute 5K.
No, but also, like, wasn't that in high school? Like, that's fast for the high school.
For the high school kids.
For the high school kids. I just have one question for the San Francisco residents. Are you, like, really bored or something?
Are you
46 miles? I ran 26 miles and I wanted to keel over and sleep for 18 years after that. It was terrible. 46 miles.
And it was definitely a run because I think at least it said it was like completed over 8 hours. Something like that.
Also, that's not fun. I'm sorry. At one point.
Oh, but come on. It brought us joy.
Did it?
Yeah, come on. The album cover on the fucking map of San Francisco.
More so like, oh my God.
Oh, I was like, yay, do it again.
Okay, no, I'm not here for the 46-mile runs. Like, I'm thinking of their knees. Like, those
You're thinking of their well-being.
Yeah, completely. I'm just concerned, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, last Send It for the day. We talked about Baker Mayfield earlier in the episode, but we didn't mention his most viral moment of the week. That would be his contribution to the now state champion Space Coast Vipers high school football team out of Florida. So, according to his foundation, after receiving word that a local Florida high school may have to turn kids away from their football program due to a lack of equipment, the Baker and Emily Mayfield Foundation donated almost $18,000 for new shoulder pads and helmets. Go Space Coast Vipers. The team then turned things around from a 1-8 record last season to winning it all this past weekend.
Oh my God.
Won the state championship. He was like asked about it in a press conference. He was like, all I did was buy the helmets.
Aww.
Like they did all the hard work. I'm really proud of them, really happy for them. Oh my God.
Baker, they can't play football without helmets. What do you mean?
How cute is that? I can't get over that. It was just very feel good. I really liked
I needed
it.
that. That was a good one to round off on for Send It.
Do you have a favorite?
I mean, I'm sorry. It's got to be Chapel for me.
Wow.
Perhaps unpopular, but I mean, it's just so cool. I also just, it takes time to map that out first in your head and on paper.
Too much time.
You can't just send it. Oh.
Yeah, it could have been spent better, in my opinion.
Whatever.
Like laying on the couch.
We're not agreeing this week. The last 2 weeks we were on a streak.
No, we're not. I'm really torn between the Baker feel good and the Kelsey family growing, mostly just because that picture really hits home of the girls. But I think Baker takes the cake for me because that is just wholesome. We're in the spirit of Thanksgiving.
Right. He's giving
back. He's giving.
It's giving Thanksgiving.
He's giving on and off the field. Yeah. So I think Baker takes the cake for me.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Well, okay. Another week, another episode of Well Played, presented by The Skim in the books. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Yes, we'll be back in the studio next Tuesday with another full-length episode on video for audio listeners, for everybody.
We'll be recapping Blake's experience at the game.
Oh, yes. I can't wait.
The Eagles game.
Oh, my God. The Jets and Eagles. That was crazy of me to say.
No, I loved it so much.
It was
that
insane.
was really genuine.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like,
green is green is green. I
they're
don't know.
green, they're birds.
Yeah.
It's not you, it's them.
Right?
You know? Yeah. They should have
Whatever.
been more descriptive in their team names and colors. Okay. Tell people where they can follow you really quickly.
All right. At BLAAA4KSE on Instagram only, babe.
She's a queen. You can follow me at CG Hendy. Make sure you're following The Skim everywhere.
Please leave us a review too if you can.
Or a DM review.
Yeah.
You can DM us a
That
review.
actually really is helpful.
Yeah.
I got some nice productive feedback in there.
Yeah, we've been taking the feedback and running with it. Yeah.
Taking it like champs. But anyway, you can also go to YouTube and watch this full-length episode, Well Played by The Skim, on YouTube.
Until next time, thanks for listening to Well Played.
The only podcast in a league of its own.